All right, next up we have, I believe I call this number 005. This is one of the original splits I did off of 001. I'm going to take a look and see how much activity there is. I did add that deep super, and we'll see if they're building into it. If they're not, I may switch it out with the medium super. I would like to get them drawing on that a little quicker. So we'll take a look in here, see what kind of activity there is. I always like seeing that at the top of the hive. It does tell me that they are going into that deep super, at least to a certain degree. And it looks like they've started building it up quite well, actually. Take a look in this. Probably wash this feeder out. These feeders get kind of dirty. Not a super big fan of these feeders. The feeders are good because they hold more sugar water than the entrance feeders, but you still have to go into the hive and fill them. So you disturb the bees doing that. This has, wow, this one might be a good one to pull some. This one might be a good one to pull a nuke off of. That frame has brood on it and is pretty much completely drawn out. This frame is drawn out, and this has eggs. This has eggs and larvae. This is really good. I don't think I added this deep very long ago, but they certainly expanded into it quite well. And you see a lot of young larvae on this one, a lot of young larvae. So they are doing very well. This is more young larvae, and it's partially drawn. This is a frame of honey. I'm going to set this one aside. Pretty much here I have 4 frames with brood. The first frame doesn't have a ton of it, but they drew all that out. And then I have a frame with honey. I think they have 3 of the 8 to draw out. I think what I'll do is I'll put some drawn frames in here. So what I have here are some frames that I got from someone that is no longer using deep boxes, so they got rid of these frames. They put these frames in storage and the frames got mold on them. So I was kind of thinking that I would just melt all the wax off, get rid of the wax, and let the bees start over with the plasticell. But then I was doing some research on it, and it looks like when you have mold on frames, you can put it in the hive and the bees will clean it out. So it's kind of a shame to waste all this wax when potentially the bees could just clean it out and have fully drawn comb that they can start putting brood in right away. So I'm not sure what to think about it, but I'm going to do an experiment and see. So I'm going to take these 2 frames that do have some mold damage on them, but they're pretty much fully drawn out, and I will see how these guys do with cleaning them up. Actually, I think I'll move this honey frame over because I would really like this to be brood. Who knows, if I get enough if I get enough of a population on some of these, I may end up doing a split next week. Because a lot of these have a significant amount of brood, but I would like them to draw out their frames more and that kind of thing to ensure that they have space for winter. But then if the population is getting pretty high up there and I want to just overwinter in a single deep, then I might have enough to start a nuke in at the beginning of August, and if I give them enough bees to start the nuke, they may end up doing fine over the winter. Right now I kind of like where all of these hives are at that I've looked at today, and I don't really want to pull brood from them because they're progressing nicely. I did pull brood to help one of the hives out. I pulled a frame out, but they seem to be progressing quite nicely. So instead of feeding these guys, I'm gonna just give them a couple frames of drawn comb and see what happens.